Somehow, someway, Jaxson Dart was even better than we thought in his preseason debut this Saturday against the Buffalo Bills, and we're going to break that down on today's show. But first, I want all the real ones to get down in the comment section and show Jaxson Dart some love. Give me a dart emoji down below. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's go. Jaxson Dart in his preseason debut threw an awesome touchdown pass to little Jordan Humphrey. But there were things on that play that stuck out to me when I went back and watched it on the film, and there were a lot of other things that I thought painted the picture that he was even better than we initially thought. The raw numbers are what the raw numbers are. Nothing that pops off the page in a crazy matter here. 12 of 19, completed 63.2% of his passes, threw for $159, had 24 more yards on the ground, and he did throw that touchdown to little Jordan Humphrey. 0 interceptions. One of them maybe was dropped by a Bills linebacker after it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. But overall, a good day in the stat sheet for Jaxson Dart. And when you look at the advanced analytics from Pro Football Focus, he had one big-time throw, that touchdown to little Jordan Humphrey. 0 turnover-worthy plays. I think he could have gave him one, considering one interception was dropped. But he had an adjusted completion percentage of 76.5, meaning we are factoring in the drops from Montreal Washington and Dalen Cambry. So if every ball that he threw was catchable, was caught, he would have completed 76.5% of his passes. That was one of the higher numbers in preseason week number 1. He was also great under pressure, and that was my number one takeaway from Jaxson Dart. Playing under pressure. That was something that I thought he got better with over time at Ole Miss and USC, and that was one of my major question marks coming into the NFL. How are you going to be able to operate in a pocket when the bullets are flying? That is a really clear indicator of success. He was the best of all quarterbacks that had more than 20 dropbacks in week 1 of the preseason under pressure with a 90.1 PFF grade. Salute to Jaxson Dart for that. He also received an overall grade of 80.7. That was 4th among quarterbacks with at least 20 dropbacks. So he was great in totality as a passer, but really good under pressure. I thought he showed off that pocket mobility, the slight movements. He was able to create more time with him, and the presence inside the pocket was awesome. On that touchdown pass to little Jordan Humphrey, not only did he deliver a seed, a beautiful pass down the left sideline, he was ballsy enough to audible into the play. It was a run play called, and you could see Jaxson Dart tap his left hip, giving a signal to the wide receiver outside saying, we're going for this. We're throwing a deep ball down the left side, and it worked out. So not only was he able to deliver a good throw, you want to see that. How can you deliver a catchable football? But also, how can you win in between the ears as a quarterback? Everyone talked about how the Lane Kiffin offense at Ole Miss was quarterback friendly. They hold up a poster sign with all these emojis on it, and they tell you who to throw the ball to. Well, here's Jaxson Dart in his first preseason action, checking to a play at the line of scrimmage and it equaling a touchdown. So he was awesome versus the blitz. He was great pre-snap. He threw catchable passes. And I would say this, maybe his best throw of the day was dropped by Dalen Cambry on the left side. Here's 2 screenshots of that. Another beautiful go ball down the left side. Cambry unable to haul it in. I'm calling it a drop, but if that's Malik Neighbors, that's a touchdown. He runs under that. He plucks it off the dude's head, and we're dancing in the end zone. So that was good stuff there. Threw great passes all over the yard. Was great in the pocket, and he was able to win with his brain as a quarterback, something that we all kind of questioned coming out of the SEC last year and him being an Ole Miss Rebel. A couple more things popped off the tape to me, but first, I want you guys to get hooked up with his jersey. Go to chatsports.com/Dart and get your Jaxson Dart jersey today. They were on sale on Saturday. I told you to get them then. They're not on sale anymore, but if he keeps playing like this, the price is going to continue to go up. So get your jersey now so you're ready to go for week 1, chatsports.com/Dart. Overall, some things I liked. The pocket presence and the mobility. Something that I was worried about with him coming in the NFL was running into sacks. He did that a little bit at Ole Miss. When he would see pressure, he would look down at the offensive line, and he would take his eyes off of the downfield reads. Did that maybe once or twice. I thought there was a time on that 19-yard scramble where he could have thrown a deep ball to Daquan Felton on the right side, wide open down the field. Overall, still a positive play. We'll take 19-yard runs any day of the week. But overall, his pocket mobility, the way he was able to reset himself, and overall just create more time for him to throw, that was a major check mark for me. I also thought he threw with anticipation throughout the day. That is something that we have not seen from a Giants quarterback since Eli Manning was here. And when the prior quarterback threw with anticipation, it wasn't anticipation. He just decided who he was going to throw to pre-snap, and he would lock into that guy. And there's a major difference between deciding who you're throwing to pre-snap to throwing with anticipation, throwing guys open. He did that a couple of times on Saturday. Great stuff from Dart there. I also thought he did a really good job of working through his reads. On one of the first drives, they weren't able to move the sticks because he threw that backside dig route to Thomas Fidone. Ball was a little high. Him and Fidone were not on the same page. But what you don't see on that is it's a 2 wide receiver set to his left, and he works through both reads, and he gets all the way to his 4th read to Fidone, and he throws a ball that, if they're on the same page, there's more reps and they work out the kinks, it would have been a completed pass. But for Dart to be able to go from read 1 to read 2 to read 3, and then work back to Fidone in the middle of the field, that's what you want to see. One read quarterback. That's what they labeled him at Ole Miss. He didn't look like that on Saturday. I also just loved that the juice was on display. He is a gamer, man, and he is a playmaker. That 19-yard scramble, that showed you that. He climbed in the pocket. There was another play where he only had a 2-yard scramble, but it easily could have been a 6-yard loss because of a sack. Pause, not his sack. He was able to work towards the line of scrimmage and gain a yard or 2 out of that. Positive plays are positive plays. Sacks kill drives, and if you could turn that into a 1 or 2 yard gain, we're going to take that every single day of the week. I also love the short-term memory. You got to have that as a quarterback. If you're going to be worried about the mistakes you made earlier in the game, you're never going to be able to make the big-time play when your number is called. The play before he threw that touchdown to little Jordan Humphrey, which he checked into, he almost threw an interception. He could have let that linger. He could have let that affect his future performance. He did not. He shrugged it off. He got back in the pocket, and he played Jaxson Dart football, leading to a touchdown for the New York Giants. All this stuff was awesome. But the truth is, he can be even better. There were a couple of plays I thought he left on the field. There were some plays where I thought he missed a guy wide open down the field in Daquan Felton. But overall, a really solid performance for Jaxson Dart in his first NFL action. I understand it's preseason. There were still some starters out there for the Buffalo Bills. On that play that he called an audible, he was reading Damar Hamlin in the middle of the field, and he got the best of him when he delivered a seed to little Jordan Humphrey. And I think it's clear at this point, the Giants' unofficial depth chart, it was unofficial because Jaxson Dart is QB2 for this football team. He got the second crack at the quarterback snaps in the preseason, and I kind of have gone back and forth with, let's say, worst case scenario, knock on wood, Russell Wilson gets hurt week 1. I asked myself, is Jameis Winston going out there or is Jaxson Dart going out there? And for a long time, I was like, you know what, Dabes, he'll put the veteran out there early on in the season, doesn't want to throw Jaxson Dart out there. I'm kind of changing my opinion on that. The way Brian Daboll talked about Dart after the game, it gave me confidence in him that they believe that if his number is called, he will be ready. And I truly do believe that Dart is QB2 on this football team at this point, which is exciting. You want to see your rookie quarterback push a veteran like Jameis Winston to be QB2. And I thought Winston actually looked good. He had a dropped interception as well, or was intercepted, and it was called back for a penalty. Overall, I thought all the Giants quarterbacks played well. But if you were hyped about Jaxson Dart's first performance, hit that thumbs up icon. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm tweeting about the Giants all day, every day. And I post short-form content about Big Blue on my Instagram. So give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.